Babies, episode 8. We're back. I am the Uglee Franco. This is Combat on the Couch, brought to you by Kearney Combat Sports. Guys, today I'm joined by a doctor again. This is the second doctor we've had on the show. He is a doctor of what? Oh, we're going to find out. This is the first time I've met him, so we're going to meet him together. All right? This is Bryce Abbey. Welcome to Combat on the Couch.
Thank you. Thank you.
Professor at UNK. Alumni at UNK, alumni of UNL. What more do you want to know about it? Stick around. Stick around. Hey, nice to meet you, dude.
Nice meeting you as well. Been looking forward to this. Yeah, good.
Yeah, me too, you know. I've heard a lot about you, and I never have met you yet. Anytime that happens, I'm like, all right, let's get into it, dude. I'm excited. And I was still late.
No, you're good. You're good.
Very good. So give us a little background, Bryce. Where are you from?
All right. Well, I grew up in Northwest Kansas, Goodland, Kansas. Actually, I've lived in Kearney longer than I lived there. I moved to Kearney in 2001 to wrestle for then Coach Bauer.
Very good.
Wrestled from 01 to 05. Did all right with that. And stuck around UNK. Ran what was then the Human Performance Lab for several years. Got my master's in exercise science through UNK. And ran the lab, ran research, and just knew that the next step for me was that PhD. So I started looking around all over the country. Tried to leave UNK several times, and it just kept coming back that I had a good job. My wife had a good job here close to Kearney, and so I stayed and had an opportunity to join UNL in their human sciences program with community nutrition. So got my PhD in human sciences through UNL in the area of community nutrition, and then became a full professor, or a professor line at UNK in 2013, 2014. And so been doing the professor thing at UNK since then. So
I like it. There's a whole lot in there. Okay, let's slow it down, dude. You wrestled at UNK?
Yeah, I wrestled.
You came here in 2001 to wrestle?
Yep. I came here fully expecting to redshirt. I had won a state championship out of Kansas in high school, but I was an okay recruit, but UNK was pretty good at the time. They were top 10 in the country, and so I knew, my place was probably going to be come up here in redshirt. When I came up here, the guy who was supposed to take the varsity spot didn't come back to campus, and so there was still a few other guys ahead of me, but I started winning some matches, doing well in wrestle-offs, and Bauer asked me, he's like, hey, what do you think about pulling that redshirt year and just going varsity your freshman year? And I was like, I'm all in, right? And I had talked to him when I got recruited, because I got recruited for $500 was my scholarship.
Very nice.
For wrestling. And
You'll take anything, right?
Yeah, and I'm like, so how do I make more? He's like, well, you become varsity, you qualify for nationals, you become an All-American. All of those things will add up, and you can get to a decent amount of scholarship. So I was like, all right. Yeah. So then I got varsity, had a pretty good season, qualified for nationals, ended up wrestling well at nationals my freshman year, and ended up fourth place in the country as a true freshman. So things were going well, and scholarship money started coming in, and so it was exciting that way. And then
are you that kind of guy, though? Are you that kind of guy to just kind of grind it out and work?
Oh, yeah. I am not. I'm not the elite technician. I'm not I work for a lot of what I have, right? I put in the extra time. I do the work that's necessary to get me to my goals. And I'm one of those guys, if I set a goal, Bauer gave me those goals, you become varsity.
That's what I noticed. Yeah. I was like, he gave you the blueprint, and then you were like, oh, if that's all I have to do, I'll just do it.
Yep. And that's exactly the way it was. It was like, okay, what do I have to do to be the best at what I'm doing right now? And that's
fantastic.
Everything from my education, and my
I'm
athletics.
gonna
So
fix this a little bit. There.
better. Oh,
I just want that to be able to see your face.
there we go. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Better. Still got
Yeah,
you?
it's fantastic.
Okay.
I'm not cutting that either. So, yeah, no, it makes sense. I mean, those people that are like that, once you can kind of show them, like, this is what I need you to do, and if you can do it, then this is the reward that's there. It's just very easy for them now.
Yep.
And it's just really respectable to see, because sometimes people give the blueprint so much, but nobody can get it. They're like, what about step 3? What? You know, like, I can't get to varsity, but I'm winning all my matches, or what? I don't know, like, you know.
Yeah, and
People make excuses.
yeah, and I'm definitely not one to make excuses. Like I'm a find an answer, don't bring me a problem kind of a guy. Like what? The problem's there, but we got to find a solution. We're not just gonna, like you said, like ho hum, like woe is me, like I didn't make varsity or whatever. Like okay, what do I have to do to get to that next level? So.
I like it. So you get your master's at UNK.
Yeah, well, I wrestled at UNK for my undergrad. I actually ended up being a 4-time All-American for UNK
nice.
as a true freshman. From true freshman, I never redshirted. There was a year in there I thought I was going to have to take a medical. I tore my ACL. I thought I was going to have to take a medical redshirt. Ended up coming out of that right early on in the season. Again, one of those things, like I had my surgery, and the doctor said, if you do exactly what I say, nothing more and nothing less, I'll have you wrestling in 4 months. And so, again, just like you said, I followed that blueprint, nothing more, nothing less. And I wrestled in a competitive varsity match that year, almost 4 months to the day after surgery. And so, I was able to come away a 4-time All-American. The time I graduated, I had the most wins in UNK history. Was later beat by Travell Delognev. If you know Travell, he's bronze medalist in the Olympics, now coaches for UNL. And so
Sounds like he's all right.
Yeah, he's a decent one to be sitting number 2 behind. Yeah.
You're okay with it?
Yeah.
That's a good time.
Yeah. So, then I stayed on after I got a postgraduate athletic scholarship through the NCAA. So I stayed on and got my master's there at UNK in exercise science. And I loved what I did. I still love what I do.
Why?
Why? Because
why do you like it?
I get to work with people that, I get to influence the next generation of right now strength and conditioning coaches, sports nutrition coaches.
Yeah. But why though? Why? What gets you off, boss? Everybody wants to know why you go there every single day. We get the purpose and the professional answer. Why do you like to do it though?
Why?
What gets you off?
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Why do you go there, and what little part of the communication that everyone else says this is exhausting? That like, why do you love that those little parts of it? Because it's a lot of little things.
Yeah, that's a good question. I do. I think that I'm always excited to learn, and I think that's probably it. Like I love learning about nutrition. I love learning about sport and how do I make people better. And so I think that's probably what gets me up in the morning is like, okay, what can I teach these students that they think they know, but how can I show them a different way to understand it so that they can be better when they leave here?
That's what we want. Yeah. That's a good one. I like it. If you think about every single day about how can I help someone nutritionally improve, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That is a very good motivator to get up in the morning instead of like just the broad, I want to help someone today.
Yeah.
It's really intricate stuff. I like it. We get deep here. We get deep. This is Combat on the Couch, okay, babies? Hold up now. You were on a TV show with Kevin Hart?
Hey, yeah, so then I did my education thing. I got my PhD and had kids. I married my wife in 2005, and we had my son in 2008. And I started coaching him, like I was trying to stay involved with him. And I started coaching him, and a casting call came across the email through the Kearney Little League. And they're like, hey, any of you coaches are interested in this, you should check it out. And literally it was like a flyer that said, hey, you want to be on a game show? It's dodgeball meets obstacle course, and Kevin Hart's the host. And if you win, you could win $50,000. So I was like, sounds like something that'd be kind of fun to do.
I'll talk to the boss, see if I can take time off.
Yeah. So, and timing worked out great because it was right at the end of the school year. I didn't actually even have to miss any teaching because when I actually went out to film, it was during the month of May, and so I didn't even miss anything there. But when you say ask the boss, right, I text my wife, and I'm like, hey, I think
I love it.
I think I'm going to do this thing. And she's like, why? I'm like, well, it sounds kind of cool, right? I could go meet Kevin Hart. I could be on a game show. She's
It'd
like,
be fun.
Yeah, she's like, you're crazy. You're not doing it. I'm like, oh, I'm doing it. So it was super fast turnaround time, like a couple weeks. And
Really?
I had airline tickets. She's like, you're not going? I'm like, yeah, I'm going.
She did not want you to go.
Well, it was a busy time of year for the kids, and I was going to miss out on some
yeah.
activities, but I was like, man, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity and at the time when I left, it was like $50,000 or nothing, right? And so
okay.
I fully expected to go out there, have a good time, visit LA, be on a game show, and then come back.
Right.
It's not how it ended up, but
How did it end up? Did you win the thing?
yeah. So,
Dude.
So I ended up. If you know the game show, it's TKO with Kevin Hart. So it's Total Knockout. Oh shit.
Oh, it's fine. Keep going.
Yeah, so it's TKO with Kevin Hart. So Total Knockout with Kevin Hart. You can see episodes on YouTube. But we talk about that motivation piece earlier. And so when I got there, they're like, "Oh yeah, you can win $50,000 if you win it. $5,000 for second. I think it was $2,500 for third, $1,000 for fourth, and then if you get fifth, then you get nothing." I'm like, "Well, I'm leaving here with money for sure, right?" And so the obstacle course ended up being right up my alley. A lot of balance, a lot of coordination, and super fast. Like under 4 minutes, like under 5 minutes, which a wrestling match is 6 to 7 minutes, so it was right underneath that. So
that makes a lot of sense. The obstacle course sounds like something you'd exactly do, and you look like the type of body that would just like scurry one. You know?
Yeah. And it like if I was gonna make an obstacle course and have it be, it was right in line with what I would want to do. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, so I won my episode. The episode was called "This Ain't No Rodeo." So I cast for the dad baseball coach, and it was supposed to be like a has-been dad cast, and I ended up on an episode with all like professional athletes. So it was a professional bull rider, a death racer. So a death race is a race they don't know how long it's going to be when they start.
Oh God.
A professional female soccer player, and then a stunt double for Kevin Hart. And so it was all an athlete show. I ended up winning that by like 6 seconds. So I won $50,000. And so if you've ever been on a game show, you have to sign a non-disclosure, which means you can't tell anybody what happens. And so I had to call back to work and be like, "Hey, my flight got canceled and I got to stay for a while."
You can't tell them because it hasn't been shown on TV yet.
Right, yeah. It's not a live thing. It's just filmed. And so, yeah, so I ended up staying out there.
You couldn't even tell your work why you couldn't come back.
Right, yeah. And technically they weren't even supposed to know I was in LA, right? They were supposed to I was just supposed to get on the plane, fly out there, and then come back. And so I ended up having to stay. If you haven't seen the game show, it's like the top 5 times get put into the battle royale or the finale. So I had the 4th best time overall. So I ended up running second, and spoiler alert, but I won the $100,000 show also. So I won.
Hey, dude, can I get a loan?
Yeah,
I know I just met you, but
yeah. So
can I get a loan, bro?
So the battle royale was all of the best guys. Ton of fun. Actually, I still talk to a couple of them to this day. Just good dudes.
Right? That's a cool, different way to build a relationship. Most people don't have that.
Oh yeah, no, it's
not about a game show.
Yeah.
Most people have like poker night.
Yeah. Well, and that's it's definitely one of those things. Like, tell me something unique about you, right? Like, I won a game show with Kevin Hart
Twice.
Yeah.
Twice. Wait. Not twice, just once.
Well, I won
But
my
you went back.
episode,
Right.
And then I won the grand finale, like the
Nice.
overall the battle royale.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
What was the casting like? What
Casting was interesting because I never wanted to be on a game show. It wasn't like I was out there filling out all these casting calls to be on a game show.
It came across through an email. You were like, good idea.
So I called the guy, and he's like, if you don't call me back by 9 p.m. Pacific time, which is 11 p.m. Central, he's like, I'm calling you first thing tomorrow. So I called him at like 9:30 Central, and we bantered back and forth because and probably the best advice I got is the game show doesn't want Midwest Professor Bryce. They want a character that's going to be good on their game show. So
exactly, yeah.
Of course, they want you to be out there, and they want you so they're like, can you talk trash? I'm like, I wrestled in college for 4 years. Of course I can talk trash. So that was fun. And it happened so fast.
Dude, I haven't had time to watch the YouTube video. I'm going to go find it.
Oh yeah, they're out there. You can, I think it's like $1. You can watch them or whatever. Yeah, it's a ton of fun. Yeah, my kids still pull it up every once in a while. I usually sometimes before class I'll pull up a little bit of it or something because a lot of the students. I mean, it happened in 2018, so it's been 5 years now.
Right. And that's still recent though.
It's pretty. Yes, for me it's really recent, but a lot of these kids were still in high school that that I'm teaching, and so they didn't know the UNK and the part. It was big for me, but it was a one and done game show, so it didn't get the masses and didn't get out there, and it hasn't been aired since. And so people don't know about it unless they hear about it from me or hear about it from somebody. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Dude, just a tool. What else do you do? What else can you do? Just an absolute weapon to have in the tool bag.
Yeah.
What else can you do, dude? Can you woodwork? Can you work with your hands? Don't tell me you can make me a desk.
I do a lot of honey-do list stuff. I do a lot of that kind of thing for sure. I just love fixing things and I think it was probably part of how I grew up, right? You didn't just throw it away. Like you fixed it. If you couldn't afford it or you couldn't buy it, you made it. And, it's a lot of what I do. I love doing stuff with my kids the same way. Like my son and I just fixed up an aluminum boat, and so handing that craft off to him of, taking pride in what you own. It's not an expensive boat. Take pride in what you own, maintain what you own, make it better than what it was, make it what you want it to be. And so, yeah, I do a lot of that kind of stuff. I love that side of things.
That's an interesting thought. Make it what you want it to be, huh?
Yeah. So, right. I didn't grow up with a lot of money, and, I don't expect to buy the best things, but what I have, I maintain, and I make it what I want it to be through fixing it up, taking care of it, and that kind of thing. Yeah.
He likes learning. You have to like learning a lot to be able to figure stuff like that out.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, Pinterest and YouTube are definitely the best for that, right?
Dude, they're your friend.
And my buddies call me all the time. Hey, do you think that you can fix this? I'm like, if there's a YouTube video, I can fix it. Right? Yeah. So
fantastic.
Yeah. Definitely do a lot of that kind of stuff for sure.
YouTube degree as well. Yep. Working on that doctorates.
Yep.
Dude, it's just really nice to meet somebody that's pretty I will figure it out. Yep. A lot of people have problems and they can't figure out the solutions. And there's just very rarely you meet people that don't have real problems because they just figure it out somehow, however long it takes, you figure it out. Do you think that you're good at being patient and figuring things out over a long period of time, or do you need to figure it out?
Well, I guess I can be obsessive about it, right? If I need to figure out an answer, I would, and my wife would probably agree, I have an obsessive personality where, I get onto something and I want to be the best at it. And I think that's what joining the gym here, jiu-jitsu, is kind of blowing my mind a little bit, because you don't just learn it in a day. You don't just learn it in a week. You don't just learn it in a month or a year. It takes a long time. But to say that I've jumped in both feet, YouTube, jiu-jitsu degree, so I would definitely say I want to know it now, but I'm willing to play the long game to be the best at it in the long run, right? I know that I'm not just going to jump in and be really good at jiu-jitsu right now. My wrestling background helps, right? Definitely,
a ton.
Definitely keeps me out of trouble. But I can do a lot of controlling, but I can't do a lot of like what's next. Now I got you down. Now what do I do type of thing. And so that's been really interesting. Yeah. But yeah, I definitely think I want to know it now, and I want to be the best now. And I think that comes with that. But also I know that to be the best, you're always going to be learning. Yeah.
It's clear. There's never a mountain. There's never a mountain top. Right. You know, it's always just the mountain.
For sure.
Richard texted me some things. Shout out to Big Bad Rich. He's feeling under the weather today, so he texted me things to ask you. So I'm going to take a look at them real quick. But I was just thinking, why did you get into BJJ in the first place? Because you already did the wrestling.
Yeah, so I did the wrestling, and my son was the one who was like, hey, I need something else, right? After wrestling season got over for him back in February, he's like, I want to stay on the mat. I'd like to try something else. Let's go try jiu-jitsu. And it had always been in the back of my mind, like, well, with all of the guys that have come through the gym, right? Even the UNK wrestlers that have came through here, like it's always been an interest of me, especially with, Marty Kamarandine Usman, right? Marty Usman from Nebraska. Seeing him transition from wrestling to MMA to the pinnacle of the UFC, it's always been an interest of mine to get to do it. And I've talked about it several times. I've just never jumped in, and maybe that's because I knew when I did, I was going to have to go in both feet, and with my personality that way. Mm-hmm. But my son's like, let's try it out. So last February, that's what got us through the door, was him like asking about it and wanting to do it. And
how old's your son?
He's a sophomore in high school.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
He's gone through middle school. Now he's kind of like, what do I want to do?
Yep. And
this is one of the things.
And he's always wrestled. And so to see him start to want to take that next step in wrestling is exciting, because I had done my wrestling career. And so for him, if he wanted to wrestle, it was going to be for his wrestling career, not for mine. I had done mine. Yeah. I want him to be able to do his, and to see him want to do that and want to get better at wrestling through other grappling, I think was exciting for me as well. And so, yeah,
you watching your boy do what you love. Well, that's exciting.
And he's a sophomore in high school, and he's already bigger than me. So it makes it kind of interesting when we get to wrestling and get to rolling on the mats. Now it's like, okay, we're the same size now. So it's like, okay, I don't know how much longer how far advanced I want him to get, how much longer I'm going to be able to still beat him. So,
so the real reason you got into BJJ is that you got to keep up. You got to have a couple little chips that you can pull off and say, hey son, don't worry. I still got you.
Got you. Yeah.
You breathing yet? Yeah. Nope. Good. Yeah. Okay. I still got you.
I'm still in control. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, and I don't know if he keeps growing like he is, it won't be much longer, and I'll be passing him off to somebody else to wrestle.
Good, pass him off to Rich. Speaking of the kids getting into wrestling, I heard you and Dante have got some sort of thing going on.
Yeah, so
what are we talking here?
Yeah, so when I first started, Rich had been reaching out to me like, hey, I really want to grow my grappling. I want to continue to, have wrestlers in here. And so just trying to find a way to get more of the wrestling side of things involved. And with the way high school athletics works, you can't practice with your high school. And so I reached out to Rich. I'm like, hey, what kind of opportunities can you offer for wrestlers? And he's like, I got Dante, who wrestled at the D1 level,
Iowa State,
and was a national qualifier. Love to see him get into the coaching side of things. He's got a young boy, he's going to be coming up into it. Like, I'd love to see him develop his coaching. I was like, I would love to see the guys that I've been working with work with somebody different, right? They've heard it from me 1,000 times. I coached these guys since they were, pre-KK, all the way up through the Mat Cats program. And I'm like, I'd love for them to see and hear from somebody different. So what do we got to do to get some mat space up at, Carney Combat? And he's like, hey, let's communicate with Dante and let's get this thing going. And so we got some guys together and started a program for the guys to do outside of their high school program. And yeah, I think the guys are loving it. The boys are loving it, getting a different set of eyes. And if they can pick something up just by being on the mats, I think it's going to be a great opportunity for them.
So what's the goal going in? What are you guys kind of thinking that you want it to be in like 3 to 5 years? Like, do you want it to last a year, or do you want it to be a recurring thing?
No, I would love to see it grow into a year-round program for these guys, right? They're going to have their in-season time. I know some of these boys have interest in MMA later on, so is it something that helps Kearney Combat grow? Because not all these guys are going to wrestle at the next level, right? They're wrestling in high school right now.
But they might find their passion in this area of life.
And just
coaching, whatever it might be.
Exposing them to other grappling that's out there. And, I would love to see the Central Nebraska area pick up with Kearney Combat. They got great things going on at the BJJ level, the MMA level. I mean, how many guys they have fighting here on September 9th is awesome.
Oh, dude, that's exciting. That's a ton of people that show up to the gym that are going to now do something like that.
Right. And I mean, it's like a home tournament for these guys, right? Like they almost like it's like Kearney Combat versus everybody else is kind of what it's almost set up to be.
Time.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
Good time.
Yeah. So what do I see it in 3 to 5 years? I hope.
Where would you like it to be? What's kind of like the mission? You got to go into stuff thinking, okay, I'm going to do this with a purpose. I don't do things half-butt, right? So you're going to do it. Yeah. What would you kind of want it to be?
I would love to see it grow into a postseason, off-season training program for these older kids, right? The Matt Cats has a great program for youth. The Matt Cats has a great program all the way up through middle school. They have some stuff that goes on through that. The high school, they start getting to that age. We start getting into Golden Eagles, which goes around in the fall and the spring period of times that's ran by the college. It's a great opportunity. And then this would be that next kind of piece that allows for these guys to almost wrestle year round. And get on the mats year round, which could be the young kids that are really passionate about it, wanting to wrestle year round. Great opportunity for them possibly as space allows within Kearney Combat, but definitely for these older kids that like by the time you get to high school, I'm not a one sport guy. Like I'm not like, hey, drop everything. You're a wrestler. You're going to do nothing else but wrestle. But you start getting to this point, and if you want to wrestle at the next level, you have to be 100% in on that sport. And whether that's football, whether that's wrestling, whether that's track, like you have to be 100% all in. And then you're just a good enough athlete to do the other sports, right? You're a good enough athlete you're a football player, you want to play football. Right. You're a good enough athlete, you're going to wrestle also, or you're going to go out for track. If you're a wrestler and you want to be the best, like you're going to have to find time to get on the mat, even during football season, even during track season. And I want you to do all of those things, but you're a wrestler, right? Just like the football player, he's a football player. So I think having that opportunity is something that we haven't had, and we've seen other, Hastings has good year-round programs, Omaha has good year-round programs, and there's programs around, and we're having guys travel. Central Nebraska has guys travel out there. Like we should be able to do that here. And make it available to athletes here in Kearney or the surrounding area as well. And so that's really what I guess ultimate goal. Dante was a Matt Cat early on, and just to see him grow in that and take over some of that programming and build this next generation of wrestlers for Kearney Matt Cats and for Kearney High, and then hopefully UNK and the greater college level areas. I think that's my passion within it. I'm not a coach, right? That's why I'm not the one coaching these guys. Like I coach them when they're little. I like to roll around. I like for kids to have fun. I'm a wrestling official by trade. Like it's my niche in the sport now. So to find these guys somebody to help coach them, I think is ideal. My son. Do we talk wrestling? Absolutely. But his coach is Ryan Bauer at the high school, and now Dante down at Kearney Combat Sports. And, when he went up to Fargo and wrestled in Fargo, like he had his coaches, I was the dad in the stands. And so it's a great, I think it's better for our relationship that I'm not on him all the time with all of this. I let other coaches kind of take it too.
You have to. I mean, I think some of the elite mindset people also understand that you can't just constantly pressure these kids to do the one sport that they love. If they say they love it, you got to be the dad in the stands. You cannot be heavy-handed all the time. I remember a couple times growing up, I love my dad, but he watched my football practices from a truck. You know, he would put a lawn chair in the back of a truck and watch them. And that made me feel so bad. So bad, you know. And the kids would ask you after practice, "Where was your dad here, bro?" I don't know, man. He just wants to be here. You know, you love him. I love him so much. But there's something to be said about doing it right. There's certain guys that you can look at that say, like, they've raised their kids. Probably Howie Long has raised. Is it Howie that's the dad, or is it whatever one? But he's raised his kid to be a professional athlete and a stand-up dude. He did it right, though. That guy knew what he was doing, you know? Certain dads know what they're doing and know how, and they understand, like, oh, if I stay in the stands, he's going to listen to his coach, and he's going to like his coach, and he's going to want to come and tell me everything, and I won't have to be right there with him because he's going to be excited to talk to me because I'm not being so heavy-handed. It's fun. It's fun. It's a fun game, you know? It's a fun game being a dad, I bet.
Oh, it is. Absolutely is.
Interesting. Let me see what Rich said again. He has a lot of things, and I've got a lot of things, and we just got to pick one. So, let me see here. What do you like to do outside of wrestling? How are you spending your free time to be able to go back in the next day? How are you gaining health and energy the night of, you know, just in a night? What do you like to do in your free time so that you can go back the next day and do what you love?
That's a tough question. I stay busy. Like, I'm always busy. I'm always doing something, right? I love to hunt and fish. I love to be outdoors. So that's my me time. I love spending that time with my son, with my family, outdoors, camping, that kind of thing. Is definitely where you'll find me. Like, if I have free time, that's where I'm going to be.
There's Bryce. There he went.
Yeah, well, and it's definitely not running. Like, I'm not a runner. Like, if that was what you insinuated, like, there's Bryce, there he goes, and it's not that. Like, I do not run. Like, that is one thing, and I don't know whether cutting weight broke me of that or my body style, but no, I don't run. Like, no, I am not. I'm not a runner. More power to those people that do run. Like,
shout out to them.
Awesome for you getting up in dark 30 and running.
Yeah,
in the rain and the wind. Yeah, like I don't do that. No.
But they talk about us though, right? They talk about the weird gym people in here. Have fun touching other people and getting staph infection.
Yeah, so
that's what they say.
I definitely stay busy. Try to exercise on a regular basis. Try to practice what I preach type of deal for sure. You know, lifting weights, exercising, staying active that way. Try to get into the gym as much as possible. I think that the gym's a great place for my mental health because you can be that aggressive and you can do that things. And I think, to me, and that's what I liked, and not to go back to coaching and that kind of thing, but our young boys, like, they don't get to be aggressive. And so when I first started coaching
talk about it.
When I first started coaching pre-KK, it was interesting to try to get the boys to be aggressive without being mean. And so because
they were confusing them.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I was like, well, don't let him take it. Well, but at school you have to share. I'm like, well, no, don't share. Like, when you have his leg, don't let go. Well, he's pulling it. Like I said, but you have it. Like, you take it. And so that was an interesting.
But that's his leg.
Yeah, and so we tried to develop games that taught them to be and let that aggression out and be aggressive and have fun, but in a controlled manner. Like, no, don't beat him up. You have to follow the rules and the wrestling rules, but do it aggressively. And that was a hard thing for me to figure out. And I think I've continued to understand, like, even when I come in here, like, it's good for me to be able to push myself through that. And I think that's really good for me physically and my mindset coming from a wrestling background. So it's one of the things I really like about jiu-jitsu is it's slow, methodical. I call it it's my old man wrestling, right? I can still do this at 40, where, you know, I'm not stepping foot into that college wrestling room, you know. Like,
right. You don't have to worry about that.
It's a different level of conditioning and reflexes and power that at 40 I don't have anymore. So
Yeah.
but
yeah.
I can do those similar things in the jiu-jitsu realm. So
Such an interesting thought. You can still do all of the fun, active things that you need to do to be able to stay healthy. You don't have to pick up a new thing either. There's different avenues in wrestling that you can go find.
yeah, and I definitely think, and I do think that Carney Combat has a very grappling focused jiu-jitsu that works with me and my style really well.
I know that's what they focus on. I know that that's one of their goals is they want to build some of the best grapplers.
Yeah.
So you being an all right grappler, I mean, look at that. Do this right now, but do it for that. Look at that. Yeah. Turn it this way. But show that. Yeah. But make it flat. Do this.
What?
No, do this with your arm.
Okay.
Show it like mine. But look at the camera.
Oh, this way.
Yeah.
This way.
Yeah, dude. Look, it's a piano. That's what I wanted. That's how you can tell dudes that grab onto you, they're not letting go.
Yeah.
These are not vanity muscles. These are used every day. These, I mean, you got them, but you don't really use them for nothing, except if you're training to use them. But if you're an everyday dude, you need these, and you need these. And if you got these, dude, watch out. Probably one of the best people to get a hold of somebody, you know?
Yeah, I like to think that I bring something to the table even with the MMA guys, like give them a different feel.
Yes,
that
definitely.
They
Everybody has a role. Everybody has a role.
I bring a different pressure than a lot of the guys are used to. And they're going to be stepping in the cage with a grappler, or a wrestler possibly. And so I like bringing that to the table, that kind of pressure and that always moving forward mentality. When I roll with the MMA guys for sure.
Definitely. I mean, I see Jackson in here. He's one of the guys that showed up from the UNK wrestling team, I guess, trying to get into jiu-jitsu. Throwing a person like that in there, he's better at wrestling than them.
Oh, yeah.
He's better. He's better at wrestling than Jose. I'm going to say it, okay? I love you, Jose. He's better. But Jose's a professional fighter, so he doesn't need to be that good at wrestling. He's trying to get reps. He's trying to learn. So he needs Jackson in there, but Jackson's maybe not a professional, fighter. Maybe he could be. I'm not putting anybody in a certain place, but as daily practices go, this is the roles that are filled, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think, and Jackson's a fun one, to go with for sure. So you're going to bring something different to the table. And I 100% respect those MMA guys because they don't get to punch me, right? Like they don't get to use their craft against me, right? I just get to wrestle them.
That's unfair.
So yeah,
that's not fair.
I do sometimes leave here thinking like, man, if I would have taken that shot, he would have smoked me with a knee, or he would have smoked me with a punch, and luckily they don't get to punch me, right? Like I get to walk away without getting punched, and so I do sometimes think it's unfair in that aspect because they're coming to me in my craft, and I don't go 100% into their side of things.
Yeah.
I don't think I could get in the ring, man. That's my thing. Like I thought about it. It was getting big when I was in college, 05, 2010, when I was still, early 20s. Like it was getting to be a bigger thing. Yeah. But I got nervous enough for a wrestling match that had rules that were supposed to keep you from getting hurt. Like I don't know if I could step in a ring. Like, I mean, I suppose once the door's shut, like a light goes on and it clicks. Like the
something inside the man just goes, all right, am I gonna?
Yeah, the first time you
survive.
Get punched. Yeah, I suppose I could do it once I got in there, but you might have to like blindfold me and drag me in.
Oh man, yeah, that's scary, dude. I don't know. Yeah. There's no guarantee you're going to be okay when you leave. There's literally no guarantee you're going to be okay.
The purpose of the other guy is to try to make sure you're not. Like that's what I'm like. Like his goal is to make sure I don't leave here normal. Like, no. No. I don't want to do that. Like I'm good. Like I'll wrestle you all day, but like we're going to shake hands and we're going to and I know that it happens at that level too. Like you can still do those things with your friends but man, it's a different level.
Yeah, I mean, you don't hear a lot about, like people getting like career-ending injuries, I guess, on the daily in UFC or anything like that. They're pretty much training safely, and they understand that they want to be able to do this.
And they're prepared when they step in the ring. It's not like
they're very
stepping
prepared
in the ring with Jose right now.
But I mean, one knee to the esophagus and you're done, buddy. You're not going to be able to talk anymore for sure for the rest of your life, and you might die.
Yeah.
Like, like something goes wrong, and when everybody's going at 100%, you never know. Right. So it just shows how dedicated and how much love you have to have for, casual assault.
For sure.
That's what we call it. That's what I'm calling it, dude. It's just casual assault. But
like consent assault, right?
Yeah, dude. Consensual assault.
Yeah, consensual assault. That's what it is, man. It's like you're getting in there to assault each other.
Yeah, hey. Dude, that's a good time. Crazy. So, okay, what else? What have you noticed around Carney Combat that you kind of like him or are a fan of? Why didn't you go somewhere else?
The community's great. Like, I love the community. The community gets and we talk about it all the time. Like, it brings so many different people together that, you would never interact with on a regular basis, right? Like, we're in here interacting. And when you're on the mat and you're rolling around, you're all just jiu-jitsu guys, right? Or jiu-jitsu gals, and you're just rolling. But we all go our separate ways, nurses, piano players, just all, like, we all come together to do jiu-jitsu and be friends. And then we all go our separate ways on the daily, but then there's this common bond of jiu-jitsu that's just awesome. That I think all gyms strive for that. And I think that's probably what makes CrossFit so successful, is it builds community, right? These guys, they're going there for the community aspect of it. Because
everybody knows, I mean, people that maybe show up and aren't fighting and aren't going to go into the cage or anything like that. They want to just have fun and like meet people, and they know that they're not like really good. They're trying to learn. They are just going for a community.
Yeah, and you're just trying to build the best version of yourself, and you're doing it with a bunch of an eclectic group of people that, like I said, now absolutely, I talk to all these people on the street. Meet them at the farmers market.
Right.
You run into them around town, and it's like, hey, how's it going? Where you might not have even known who they are or been, associated with them in the past. And so I definitely, the community here is awesome, and I think that's probably one thing. And that community starts to hold you accountable, right? Oh man, I have to text Alex and tell him I'm not going to be there today. Like there starts to be that piece of accountability that I think a group like this really does develop. And so it's a lot of fun. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, definitely. So are you guys just single-legging each other out in Walmart or what? Is that how jiu-jitsu people say hi? Oh, gotcha!
Well, wrestling people definitely don't have their personal space. I can tell you that. Like if I'm in your bubble, like, I'm sorry, because I'm perfectly comfortable being in your bubble. And I'm perfectly fine with you being in my bubble because I don't have a bubble. So you can even watch the episode with Kevin Hart when he goes to shake my hand, and I pull him in to a Russian tie, and I'm literally in his bubble, like holding him in a Russian tie, like I would do with any wrestler,
Right?
Like,
yeah.
Oh, you're fine. And he's like, whoa, what are you? What did he say? Bryce had flashbacks or something like that.
Of course he did. He's a character.
Yeah, and so I'm perfectly fine. Walking up behind somebody and grabbing them and acting like you're gonna throw, like it's like how wrestlers say hello. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly how you'd want it too.
Yeah.
I want Peyton Manning to throw a cucumber at me in Walmart if he knows me.
Yeah.
Like I want a jiu-jitsu guy to maybe like have me leaving Walmart limping. It's a good story. It's a good story. Oh man. Yeah. Okay. All right. Dude. What else? We got time.
Yeah.
Let me hit another button. You got any questions?
Do I have any questions? No.
I always ask people that.
No, I think this is cool. I've watched all these episodes. I think it's a great avenue to kind of showcase who's around the gym and what's going on. it's a neat kind of laid back conversation that showcases the gym in a very positive light and kind of tells people a little bit more about the gym. And I hope that people see the aspects of the gym that welcome them in, and if they're interested, that they're coming through the door, that it's a welcoming community that's not trying, like, you don't know wrestling, that's fine, right? Like, well, there's pieces of jiu-jitsu that you can learn, I think, and as I've scrolled social media, right, jiu-jitsu brings a lot of smart people together because it's such a puzzle piece. Like, I'm not winning every time. Like, I get submitted by guys that weren't wrestlers, right? Like, I get caught in places and outsmarted, and it's just a good, fun environment. And I think that hopefully this Combat on the Couch is showing that it's not just an MMA gym, that it's not just a combat, like we're out here to consensually hurt each other, right? Like we genuinely care about each other, and we want people to get better in whatever they're trying to get better at. And if it helps you in life because you're caught in a bad situation, I hope if self-defense is why you're here, like, I hope we can help you in those situations as well. So.
Yeah. Well, those are very kind words.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you.
Yeah.
That is something that I want to do. I want to show that this is a cool place where you can come and learn, where you can come and meet people, where you can come and, just like, this is just another place to come. Like, and it's a good place to come. There's a lot of places you can go here in Kearney to maybe work on, like, working out. You can go to certain gyms, but you can get everything you need from this gym physically. Like, you can grow physically here. Mentally, you might not grow lifting in a squat rack. You're going to grow a little bit more with people around you that are, this is a professor. So what are we talking about? Some of these guys have been doing this for 10, 15, 20 years. People in the gym have headphones on, they don't want to talk to you. You don't have open questions that you can ask to someone, and then they're going to get in your bubble and roll around. They're going to teach you in the most interactive way possible. So I don't know. It depends on what you want. And if you're looking for something a little bit more, this is definitely the place to go, I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
I would say. Okay. What else have you done in life?
What else have I done in life?
The most vague questions. Is Josh even trying now?
No, we haven't talked about the nutrition aspects of a lot of what I do.
Let's do that.
So part of my passion within, and even joining the gym is, I cut weight in all the wrong ways through high school, right? And and everybody hears the horror stories of, the wrestler cutting too much weight and the wrestlers dying because they were in a sauna suit, cutting too much weight. And so one of the things that I like to help young athletes do is let's preface this with, there's a difference between losing weight and cutting weight, right? Losing weight in the aspect of cutting calories is one thing, right? And when we could talk all day about what does it take to change body composition, weight loss for health purposes. The aspect I like is the cutting weight side of things. And so I'm actually going to talk next Friday, Saturday, the 9th, at the Nebraska chapter of the National Strength and Conditioning Association. So I'm going into that conference. It's the state conference. It's down in Omaha, the 9th. And I'm going to talk about the difference between weight loss and cutting weight. And the cutting weight is the side that I like, because there's an aspect to weight-specific sports that that cutting weight, and it's part of the sport, right? We're never going to get rid of it. The UFC is never going to not have weight classes. That wrestling's never not going to have weight classes, because there's a strength to mass ratio that you're trying to maximize. The less you weigh, the stronger you are, the better you're going to be able to produce power and all of those things. So how do we maximize that in athletes, and how do we make sure that they know the difference between just pure dehydration and cutting weight, right? Because on a cutting weight schedule, I need as many calories as I can possibly get in my body. The difference is I want those calories to weigh minimal amounts, because at the end of the day, I have to weigh a certain amount, but I have to have energy to compete. And so versus weight loss, which is cutting calories to change body composition, and hopefully I lose weight in the long run. There's rabbit holes we can go down with. Gaining weight changes body composition, which is actually better, which is why a scale is not the end all be all. You need to come to UNK and get body composition, whether that's bioelectrical impedance on our in-body or a DEXA through x-ray or skin folds, or measuring body composition. And so part of my role within the Nebraska State Activities Association is a assessor for body composition. And so we measure body composition on athletes, particularly wrestlers, and we try to see what weight class they can go at what body composition. And so then we try to help them, right? Right now, these guys that we got in the gym, we need to focus on weight loss with them, because we need them to be lean and mean when it comes to season, because then when we get into cut weight, right, we're talking 5, 6, 8 pounds possibly. We're not talking the 20, 30 pounds. You know, like if they're 20, 30 pounds over a weight class right now, they're not making that weight class, right? They need to lose weight, so they lose body fat, so that when they get to season, then we can talk about what that little bit of fluctuation, 3, 4, 5 pounds, can look like, and how we can manipulate that through carbohydrate intake and protein intake while minimizing the weight on the scale. And so
there's a right way to do this.
Yeah, and that's what gets me excited when I talk to wrestlers. And you know, as I work into a relationship at Kearney Combat, what can we look at as far as those guys' weight cut? Because an MMA weight cut is not the same as a high school weight cut. An MMA weight cut, you got a 24-hour weigh-in, or at minimum, you know, a 12 to 16-hour weigh-in. So that's completely different, because you have to weigh less, maintain mass as far as lean mass, but you can start looking at replenishing carbohydrates in that 12-hour period. You know, at the high school level, you have a 1 hour, 2 hour weigh-in. Like, you're going to be competing on the calories you have left in your body, not replenishing a bunch for that first match out of the gates. And so how do we maximize what that looks like? And that's where my passion is. I go up to Broken Bow and talk to their wrestling team. I've done a couple camps over the summer where I've talked about these kind of things to try to help wrestlers understand, because a lot of these guys, they did it like their dad did it. They did it like their grandpa did it. And it's just I stop eating, I stop drinking, and I just fast until I make weight. Well, there's a better way. There's a better way to do that, and to do it safely. And that's one of my super big passions when it comes to wrestling, nutrition, for sure. And so I love talking to those wrestlers, and because it's different. Like, if I can get a parent in the room, like if I'm talking to a mom and she's like, well, I've done these different diets. Well, dieting is different than cutting weight, right? We don't want your son losing mass. We need him maintaining that lean mass as much as possible. If I'm talking to the mom about her weight loss plan, that's a completely different ballgame. It's not eating a bunch of fruits and vegetables, right? Like, and I was talking to my sports nutrition class the other day, right? Like, they have so many avenues now with the sports performance bars that are out there. But let's take a sports performance bar, for example, as a good example. That sports performance bar probably weighs 2 ounces. And can have, and we'll use the Cliff bars as an example, about 2 ounces, and probably 350 calories in 2 ounces. So you have 350 calories, and it weighs 0.1 on a scale. So you step on the scale with the bar in your hand. That's how much, when you eat it, that's how much it's going to weigh. And it gives you 350 calories versus that bowl of salad, right? Let's take a bowl of salad. And we can get that bowl of salad, and that bowl of salad might weigh 4 ounces, right? You put lettuce, you put salad dressing, you put all that stuff on there, and you think you're eating healthy, and it's got 350 calories, right? But it weighed a quarter of a pound or a half a pound, and you ate that whole salad and only gained 200 calories, and now you've gained a bunch of weight through water weight that's not associated with calories. So an apple or an orange is a good example, right? You can have an apple that weighs 4 ounces, 5 ounces, and you get 100 calories from it. No, I don't want my guy that's about to compete to only have 100 calories. I want him to have that 350 calories for the same amount of weight. So we're trying to maximize calories. Like we want these guys eating 2,000, 3,000 calories in a day. We're not on that 1,500 calorie trying to lose weight type of diet. We want them eating calories, particularly carbohydrates and proteins, so that they're ready to compete when it comes time.
You're not trying to make a weak wrestler. You're trying to make a strong, healthy wrestler.
Yeah, and I
2,000 calories.
And I'm hoping they've done the work in the off season to build that muscle, because during season we're in the grind to where we're cutting weight week to week, so we're maintaining the mass that we developed in the off season. Because now we're trying to win wrestling matches. We're not trying to bench press the most, right? We're not trying to squat the most. We're trying to win wrestling matches. So cutting weight's going to be a part of that, and so. And not everybody has to cut weight. I'm definitely not a proponent of dropping 2 weight classes, 3 weight classes. Like we're talking a healthy amount of weight, that 4 to 5 pounds. If you're getting 10, 12 pounds over on a Sunday, like you're not doing something right. That's too much. It's too much. You're asking a lot of your body. It's a long season. And when you're like, well, why am I getting sick in February? Well, because you've been breaking your body down for the last 2 months.
It's trying to rest, son.
So it needs a break. And so, but when we can get guys to do it the right way, we can see some good things happening, and that's what I really want to help the guys. And I think there's a spot within the jiu-jitsu, or not jiu-jitsu, but the MMA side of things to help these guys figure out what their weight cut looks like too. So. Oh yeah.
So when talking about wrestlers, when you get one that's kind of like very, very on point, and you understand that he's doing the right things in the off season, you just need to teach him a little bit more. How exciting is that?
And I'm not out there promoting my services and charging a bunch of money, and just anybody's coming through the door. Like usually if people end up in my office, they have a passion for what they're doing, and they're ready to take that next step. And so I love working with those guys. I love the UNK guys. Like when I can work with them around their diet and nutrition, and help them figure out how to make that weight and what things they should be eating, and that aha moment of, oh, you're not asking me to starve, and you're not asking me to, eat a bunch of fruits and vegetables. No, it's a different game we're playing right now. Yes, I need you to eat healthy, and yes, I need you to eat, but I need you to eat a lot of calories, and I need you to play this game with me of how do we lose the weight over a period of time, so that you're able to compete after you weigh in. So.
It's super, super fun.
Yeah.
It's way more fun than getting somebody lazy. But I bet that's super fun for you too, because then you get to transform them.
Yeah, and so I think that's I think it's why I ended up where I'm at. Like I love working with people that are motivated to make a change, and I think that's why I like college students so much. Right? They're there for a purpose. They're there for an education. They're there to move forward. I struggle, and it's probably why I'll never be a high school coach, and maybe that's why I don't do coaching at all, because I have that passion, and if somebody doesn't, like I'm like, well, then why are you here? And so, and a short story of how I ended up in my career path, I thought I was going to be a physical therapist, right? Because all of the performance tests in high school is like, oh, you should be a physical therapist. And I shadowed a physical therapist, and I had a workman's comp case, and he says, I'm like, why aren't you doing your exercises? I'm an athlete, and I just rehabbed a shoulder, just rehabbed a knee, like busting to try to get back, right? Like I need to get back to being what I was before or better. And this guy, he straight looks at me and he goes, because if I get better, I have to go back to work. And I'm like, yeah, that's the fucking point. Like you're supposed to get better. He's like, no, but if I don't, then I can collect my workman's comp, and I'm like, I'm out. I'm out. I can't do this. This is not for me. And more power to those people that can motivate those people through that. But I think that's why I like working with the people that I work with, the students that want to get better and want to do those things, is because like I'm so passionate about wanting to get better and to be the best at what I do. Like I struggle when somebody doesn't have that same mindset.
Dude, you just gained like 20,000 respect points from me. That's how it do. I don't have fun bringing you through it. It's way more fun when you want to do it and I want to do it too. And we just can go. We can just go and we can focus on it.
And I'll be your accountability. Like, I'll help you get there, and I'll give you the roadmap that we talked about. Like, if you do this, what I tell you to do, we'll get you there.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing it.
Listen to me.
I'm not doing it for you.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to do this for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what you like to do with your days.
Yeah, that's my days. Yeah.
Interesting. It takes all kinds, people. It takes all kinds. So if anybody wants to contact you, what can they contact you for?
Oh, what can they contact me for? The wrestling side of things, like, I know wrestling teams have nutrition that they're supposed to cover for the NSAA, and so I love that aspect. And I'll talk to any wrestling team that wants to have me, and give me that opportunity to talk to the wrestlers, and particularly the wrestlers' parents. Like, I love that aspect. Individuals as well, right? People trying to make a change, coming through UNK, talking to us about what we can do to help you. It's not our day-to-day, but we absolutely love when people reach out. Maybe we can pair you with a student or an intern that can help you that way as well. By outside of UNK, right? I'm a sports official by trade, right? Like, I was on the sidelines for that Grand Island North Platte game. I don't know if there's any football fans out here, but ended up 28-27. What a game, man. What a fun game to get to officiate and be a part of. So I love, like, my niche is sports officiating. So I officiate football. I officiate wrestling, both the high school and the college level. And so, yeah, that's definitely athletic directors and I've worked with lots of them around, and just that's a passion of mine as well.
How'd you get into that?
In college, so the wrestling team hosts their own tournaments, and Bauer's like, hey, we're going to need an official. So I started officiating wrestling then. I had officiated small town job in high school. I had done some youth baseball and that kind of thing. So I had a little bit of experience coming out of high school with officiating, but really my experience through UNK. And then having been a wrestler and having been a successful wrestler at UNK, I had good name recognition coming out. Like, high school coaches respected my judgment because I was a college wrestler and I knew the sport really well. So I was able to work up really fast in the reffing high school side of things. And just, I think because I'm so passionate about it, like, I want the best for both athletes that are out there, and I want it to be a fair bout. And so I'm out there to do, and hopefully not have to get involved in the match, just go out there and make sure it's a fair bout and score points when they need them, assess penalties when it's needed, and, ultimately do that as far as an official goes. I think I have pretty thick skin, which allows me to take it a lot from the fans. Everybody wants to talk about the fans are so bad.
Do they yell at you?
Oh, yeah. And they do, but I don't think they're any worse than they were 15, 20 years ago.
Okay.
And you talked about your dad. Like, I guarantee you my dad ate on some officials, right? I guarantee you from the stands he ate on officials. And that was 20, 30 years ago, right? Like, It hasn't changed.
Yeah.
People knowing about it has changed, right? We used to just talk about it at the coffee shop on Monday morning. Oh, that ref blew that call on Friday night, and that's as far as it got. Right now, it's blasted all over social media, and this ref's horrible, and that's where it gets tough with the social media and the everything scrutinized through video so much, right?
Well, they can watch it over and over and over again.
And they can critique it. Like, as an official, you have to make a split-second decision. Mm-hmm. And right or wrong, you have to make the decision that you personally think is unbiased and that's the right call. And you have to go with it. Mm-hmm. Are we going to get it right 100% of the time? No. The NFL guys don't even get it right 100% of the time. Mm-hmm. And they can watch it on replay. Mm-hmm. As a high school, especially football, like, you got to make a split-second decision. You're going to miss some things. Mm-hmm. You're going to get some things right that the coach thought you got wrong. I don't think it's gotten worse. I think that it's gotten more publicized in that aspect. But I almost feed off of it, like, because I'm right. So
there we go.
So, but I brush it off. I move on, as long as it's not personal. Like, and I tell this to my very best friends that I officiate, like, all over the state, there's tons of wrestling coaches that are some of my best friends, right? If I can't officiate your match as the official, then I can't do your match. When I'm on that mat, I'm not Bryce, right? If I'm Bryce on that mat, then there's a bias. When I'm on that mat, I'm the official and I'm unbiased. I don't care who's in the corners. I don't care who's on the mat. Like, I'm there to do a job. When I walk off that mat and it's that weekend and we see each other, we can be friends and we can talk about it. I can tell you what I saw. You can tell me what you saw, and we can have that. And we've had it out, right? Like, I've had coaches like, you're wrong. I'm like, I don't think I'm wrong. You're seeing it through a biased lens. I go ask the other coach. He agrees with me. I'm not wrong. And so we just agree to disagree, that I'm not going to get every call the way everybody wants it.
Yeah.
But I hope that I'm as unbiased as I can possibly be.
Yeah.
Anytime I'm on the mat, anytime I'm on the field. That's my ultimate goal, is to be that unbiased mediator of a fair match the entire time. And not all fans are going to agree with you. And to me, they can tell you that all they want. Like, if they want to stand up in the crowd and they want to yell, ref, are you tall enough to make that call? That's fine, right? Like, how did you see that from, like, whatever, I don't care. I'm out there to do the best that I can, and to hopefully get it right. I'm not going to get it right every time. People are going to disagree. But yeah.
That's kind of how life goes, huh?
Oh, absolutely. And life's that way, right? But like I said, but don't address me when I'm on the mat as Bryce. Like, Bryce, you blew that call. Ooh. You want to see me get red hot? Like, ooh. Bryce didn't blow that call. The ref might have, but Bryce didn't.
Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah. I think that's a very, that's how the elite separate their lives apart, okay? They are 100% Bryce, and they are 100% this, but they're not together. Right. But they are the same person. Yeah. So that's people that can separate out different parts of their lives, I find, are successful in those parts of their lives, because they're dedicating like an entire different persona to that.
Yeah. Well, and I've had to tell coaches, like, that crossed the line. When you make it personal, that's when you cross a line. Yeah. If you want to chew on me as the official and you missed that call, we're probably not going to agree. But just don't make it personal, because to me, it's not personal. Like, I'm out there to do the best job I can do, no matter who's in the corner, no matter what team you wrestle for, what team you play football for. Like, I'm out there when I put on, and I'm a Kearney High fan. I mean, I got a wrestler that wrestles for Kearney High. Yeah. So but when I put on the stripes, like, I'm no longer a Kearney High fan, right? Mm-hmm. Which is why I don't ref a lot of their stuff right now. Yeah. Right. Like, I don't, and you can't, because you can't separate yourself from that. Right. Mm-hmm. You can't separate yourself all the time. When you have a son on the team, you can't separate yourself.
Oh no.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, you
got to pull in another person now. Now you have to be smart enough to know I can't even be there.
Right. And so you have to remove yourself from that situation, and just, because whether you got it right or you got it wrong, one side is going to see it as a bias. Mm-hmm. And that's, and when you can't see it unbiased, then, it's even the perceived bias is there, that's when it gets hard. So it's exciting. It is definitely my passion. Like, the sports officiating side is definitely.
I think you got more passionate about that than anything that we talked about. I think we can see that.
Yeah. No, I do. I love it.
It's nice. You're passionate about everything, but that one really got your fire going, boss.
Yeah.
I like it.
And if you are the best official in the stands, then come talk to me, right? I'll get you on the mat. I'll get you on the field. Like, if you're so good up there, come down here and do it, because we need them bad. We need officials bad. And so that's kind of I see that being the next 5-10 years, is me really growing the next generation of sports officials, because we're hurting, right? We're hurting for them bad. Like,
what's it pay?
What's a Friday night football game pay?
What's it pay?
So it's $120 for a Friday night football game.
I'll do it.
Yeah, you get to go. And so you got 5 of your closest.
I'd rather
friends.
do that than work at Domino's all day. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, you got your 5 closest, real close friends that you're out on the field with. You're each getting $520, or you're each getting $120, right. And so you get to go hang out with those guys. A wrestling is ludicrous, right?
Really? Well, that's a full day.
Yeah, but you're getting. You can get $450 a day. ref and wrestling. So if you're a college student, like, how are you not? Like, that's my thing. Like, how, like, you want to talk about, I got a job, right? Like, what job are you going to get, $250 for an afternoon of work? And so now, are you going to step in and you're going to make crazy amounts of money reffing right away? No. But if you're good at it and you stick with it, like, if we can get guys to stay with it for 3 years, then we have them for a long time. Where we lose guys is from year 1 to year 2. They had a bad experience with the coach. They had a bad experience with the parent, something along those lines or they had a life change, right? They got married, they had kids.
Right.
We lose them from year 1 to year 2.
Yeah.
My goal for year 1 is just to get them as much money in their pocket as I can. Like, how do I start to show them the money, right? Like, how do I get these to as many JV, junior high, youth wrestling events that I can possibly get them at, so that they start to understand that the money's there, and if they like it, then we can get them to year 2. If we can get them through year 2, where they start, now they start to deserve better matches. They start to deserve, other things. And so we have to start integrating them in, because if they're not getting the work, then we're going to lose them again. And so I'm not an assigner. Like, our association for refs does not assign matches. It's an equal opportunity, right? You contact the ADs, you let them know you're available. If an AD contacts me, I'm going to blast out an email to everybody at the exact same time, and it's first come, first serve, and you're working with that AD. Mm-hmm. That AD is going to be who's hiring it. I'm not hiring it, because I don't want it to get into like, well, it's an old boys club and Bryce only hires all of his best friends.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get into that. Because there's a perception of that.
Yeah, no, that sucks. Nobody likes that. Nobody wants to even give to that. Nobody wants to care about that at all.
And so how we have chosen in the western part of the state is we're all independent contractors. Yes, we're part of an association that gets together and talks about rules and talks about opportunities, and I share out to everybody that's out there that wants to officiate. And there's jobs out there. Like, we need officials, especially with adding girls wrestling. Now that girls wrestling's out there, like, there is so many opportunities for wrestling officials that I'm scared what the next 5 years can bring if we don't find enough officials.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. And it's not just wrestling. It's football, it's basketball, it's softball. It's all sports. If you played a sport in high school and you're passionate about it, you want to find a way to give back, sports officiating is definitely where it's at. Mm-hmm. I call it's a hobby that pays, right? Lots of guys spend thousands of dollars hunting deer. I get paid to go ref wrestling and hang out with my friends.
Yeah.
Hotel rooms are paid for and that kind of thing when it's multi-day. So
it sounds like he's trying to give some advice right now. And what I'm getting is, find something you like to do and then find out how you can make money doing it. And then it feels like you're not working, but you're making money. Genius. So, dude, we've taken too much of your time and you've got to get on the road. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
This is fun. Appreciate it.
This is fun. We'll have more. This is only episode 7, 8, whatever it is. Yeah, dude. He's going to the volleyball game today. You're going to the volleyball game outside.
Yeah, the volleyball day in Nebraska.
Dude,
91,000 of my closest friends, hopefully, right?
Do I have a snap? I got you on Instagram, right?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, put as much as you can on your story. I want to see so much of it. I'm watching the Nebraska Huskers, like, they do drone flyovers and stuff. And I'm like watching it. I'm like, dude, this is the coolest thing ever. And it's cool because Nebraska is the best at volleyball. And they're doing it here.
They're highlighting all levels, right? They have UNK, they have Wayne State, they have the Huskers, and then UNO. Just all of it's going to be a fun day. Yeah, I'm taking my daughter and one of her friends and meeting my brother. He's coming up from Kansas, and his daughter, and so it's going to be a fun little afternoon. So.
I might drive. I might hide in your trunk.
Yeah.
Gosh darn. Bryce, thank you for coming on the show. Dap it up for me. Snap it. Guys, be on the lookout for the fight September 9th. If you haven't got tickets already, it's not that far. You have to get tickets as fast as you possibly can. Also, just come to the gym. Come to the gym. Shoot Richard a message on Facebook, Instagram, Bravo Barajas, Carney Combat Sports. Message any of the coaches. anybody that goes here, just ask them one question. You won't be led wrong. All right. Go listen to 21 Brick Street in other news on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff. And be looking out for more Panda shirts to be showing up at your local anything, because they just show up places. That's how I sell them. They just kind of show up like pixies. All right, babies. We're out. Love ya. You got anything to say to the people?
I don't. It's good. Real good.
Come on, give them something.
Yeah, like you said, find your passion and find a way to make money doing it.
Boom. Love you.